Hi YouTube, Tim Eckert here. In this video, I'm going to talk about the signs of the 6 trig functions per quadrant, and I'm going to use the unit circle to explain why each one is the way it is. Okay, so I have this circle here. If I start here and draw out a radius here and give it a distance of 1, this is centered at the origin, has a radius of 1. It's a unit circle. And let's call this angle theta here. And this point here, I'm just going to label as x, y. Okay. If we were to draw out a triangle, a right triangle here, we would see that the horizontal distance is the x value, and then the vertical distance on the triangle is the y value. Okay, so this is x, and this is y. Both are positive because we are in quadrant 1. Now, if we know a little bit about the unit circle, well, or just looking at this triangle actually, we can say that the cosine of theta here is the adjacent side over the hypotenuse, so x over 1. So the cosine of theta is x. So let's label that. So x equals the cosine of theta. Y, well, that could equal, if we look at the sine of theta, it's the opposite side, y over 1. So y equals the sine of theta. Okay, so now we know that both of those are positive because both x and y are positive. So this is positive, and this is positive. And we can say that the tangent of theta, well, the tangent of theta is equal to the sine of theta divided by the cosine of theta. So that's positive. The secant of theta is 1 over the cosine, so secant of theta is 1 over the cosine of theta. So that's positive. The cosecant of theta is equal to 1 over the sine of theta. So 1 divided by a positive number is a positive number, so that's positive. And then the cotangent of theta is equal to 1 over the tangent of theta. And that's positive as well. So all the 6 trig functions in quadrant 1 are positive. So that's quadrant 1. Let's move across to quadrant 2 over here. So quadrant 2. So here, let's say we have a point xy. Well, x is going to be negative. Y is still going to be positive because x travels this way, so the negative direction, but y is still positive. So the cosine of theta, which is x, that's negative. Sine of theta, that's still positive. Now the tangent of theta is a positive, the sine, divided by a negative, the cosine. So a positive divided by a negative is a negative. So the tangent of theta is going to be negative. The secant of theta is 1 divided by a negative number, the cosine. So that is negative. The cosecant of theta is 1 over the sine, so 1 divided by a positive number, so that's positive. And the cotangent of theta is 1 over a negative number, 1 over the tangent of theta, so that's negative. Okay, so that's quadrant 2. Let's go across to quadrant 3. All right, so let's imagine a point xy here. So now both x and y are positive. X goes in the negative direction. It's not positive. I said positive. X goes in the negative direction. Y goes in the negative direction. So both x and y are negative. So the cosine of theta is going to be negative. The sine of theta is negative. The tangent of theta, however, if you divide a negative by a negative, is going to be positive. The secant of theta, so 1 over the cosine, is going to be negative. The cosecant of theta, 1 over the sine, is going to be negative. The cotangent of theta is 1 over the tangent, so that's going to be positive. And that's quadrant 3. So on to quadrant 4 here. All right, so imagine a point xy here. Now in this case, x is in the positive direction, whereas y is still in the negative direction. So the cosine of theta is positive. The sine of theta is negative. The tangent of theta, now we have a negative divided by a positive, so that's a negative. The secant of theta, 1 over the cosine, it's 1 over a positive number, so that's positive. The cosecant of theta, 1 over a negative number, so that's negative. And then the cotangent of theta is going to be 1 over a negative number, so that's negative. Hopefully this video helped you out with the signs of the 6 trig functions. If it did, please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also, anyone who wants to check out my worksheets can check my Teacher Pay Teacher store in the description. You can also check out my website, which I'll leave in the description as well. Hope to see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.